All right, so we are on page 3 of our packet, and we are going to discuss another key characteristic of our functions, and this is about extrema. Okay, so pretty much we are reviewing all the other key characteristic, vertex, axis of symmetry, domain, range, and behavior, x and y intercepts, plus two more. Okay, so for this video, we are just going to concentrate on extrema. Okay, as the word suggests, extrema basically means extreme. Okay, and so there are two types of extrema, either absolute or relative. Okay, absolute or relative. Now another word for absolute is global, and another word for relative is local. All right. So that means when you talk about extreme, we're talking about the maximum or minimum. So basically, we have either maximum, absolute, or global maximum, and also absolute and global minimum. We also have relative or local maximum and relative or local minimum. Okay, we are not really going to discuss all of these. We are just going to basically call them minimum or maximum for the purposes of this lesson. Okay, and we'll discuss this a little bit more when we move on to a different topic on functions. All right. So when you talk about extreme or extrema, we are dealing with your maximum or minimum value. Minimum minimum values. Okay. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so minimum values actually refers to the y coordinate of your point. Okay, y coordinate of your point. So for example, right here, this point here is a maximum, right? Well, for this graph, let's start with this one. This is not really a quadratic graph. This is a cubic graph, or at least could be a cubic graph. And as you can see, there is like a mountain up here. So that is a maximum. And this is also, this one here is the lowest point, which is a minimum. All right. Now, when we move on to this graph, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a quintic graph. All right. And we have two maximums right here. So we have two high points, all right, and two low points. So we have two minimums and two maximums. So we are going to just address a little bit about this. So between these 2 points, which are both maximums, the highest maximum is what you call your absolute maximum. And the lower maximum, if you have more than one, if you have one or more than one, these are what you call your relative maximums. In the same manner here, these are both minimums. The lowest point is your absolute minimum, and the other points that are low are also are what you call a relative or local minimum. Okay, so but for the purpose of this lesson, we are just going to call them minimum and maximum. All right. So the green colored numbers are your x coordinate. Those are the location of your maximum or minimum, while the red is the value. All right. So this is your extrema. So when I asked you what is the extrema of this graph? So your extrema will be y equals 2, and you're going to have to call that maximum at y equals 2 or maximum at y equals 1 for this point. And another extrema would be this minimum, because that's a lower point, minimum at y equals -3 and minimum at y equals -1. All right. Okay, so let's practice some okay, so we have two graphs here. Graph A, this one, if you cannot see the word A, this is graph A and this is graph B. So basically, these are quadratic graphs. And so for graph A, we can locate the, all right, we can look, since this opens downward, so we know that this is a maximum right here. And so we can determine that the coordinate of that point. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 1. So that's 3 comma 1. All right, so therefore for graph A, this is a maximum. Okay, so this is part of your extreme answer. This is a maximum at y equals 1. Okay, so that's your maximum value of the function. At, at x equals 3, Your maximum value is y equals 1. That is the extrema of this graph. Now for letter B, since this opens up, so therefore this point here, your vertex is a minimum. So we would write for B, we'll write it's a minimum. Okay, at y equals what? So we need to locate this point. So this is going to be 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's this point is 1 comma negative 5. So therefore your y is equal to negative 5. Okay, let me rewrite that. Y equals negative 5. Okay, so this is your extrema for this value, or for this graph.